to welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and of course, all the time online at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. So we appreciate everybody that's gone over to Great Lakes Honda City, and make sure you let them know that DT sent you their way. Appreciate the team and all that they've done for me throughout over a decade of getting my cars from Great Lakes Honda City. We are up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.mixlr.com. So wherever you are, we appreciate you watching and listening to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And of course, today is a Wednesday, and as we started last week, you know that every Wednesday is called World Cup on Call, and it's where this guy and I, Zach Bowden, will be discussing the World Cup all the way through the 2026 FIFA competition that will end in July. Over a month of soccer here in North America as Canada, Mexico, and the United States all host the World Cup. We are in the group stages right now. We have groups A through J as of this morning that have finished up their competition of their first match. And K and L, none of those countries have had a single match up to this point. That will change today, as all 8 of those countries are going to be in competition throughout the day today. And as you know, I give you a video every single day that there is action called Setting the Table, brought to you by Gray's Craze. Go to Gray's Craze in Clay, New York, and make sure you get your snacks for the games today and every one of the days that there's a match for the World Cup. And I will set the table with a video today as well, letting you know all the games that are coming up. And of course, Austria got a victory over Jordan earlier today. The game started at midnight, but it was on the West Coast, so it was a 9 p.m. Eastern Time game. And the game was won by Austria in their first match of this 2026 World Cup, 3-1 over Jordan. Shout out to my good friend Saher, who is from Jordan. Even though they lost, I was thinking of you in this matchup, and I hope they find a way to bounce back. So we will be getting into the group stages, and we'll talk about groups A through J that have been in action, our thoughts on K and L. That's all coming up here. Our surprises in a good way, and then our surprises that maybe made us think, I didn't expect that team to do that. I already know where my head's going to go. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. And in hour number 2, Scottie Rodgers will be joining the show once again. He is a mainstay on the broadcast from the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, their VP of Communications, and he has had so many opportunities to be a part of different events. He's been honored many times in recent history, but maybe none as good as what he just received, which is from the Atmore Area Hall of Fame. His hometown in Alabama just inducted him into their Hall of Fame. So Scottie will be joining me to speak on that and all of the wonderful things he's gotten to do. He's fresh off of coming home from Vegas, where he was with the NACDA as well as the CSC when it comes to the sports world. So we'll speak on that as well. And we'll also discuss the college football playoff. It's now going to have its latest ending. It'll end later than it ever has, which is going to be, I believe, January 25th this year in Las Vegas. And we'll talk about the upcoming Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. So a lot of great stuff coming up here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, where sports meets life. But you know, and I know, I can't introduce World Cup on Call without doing it truly this way. Zach Bowden, how we doing, sir?
Doing great, Dan. How about yourself?
Doing very well. Good to see you again. And don't worry, my hat will be on my head after a commercial break. I realized, I was like, I got to put the hat on. I've had the hat ready all week, set to go. And then as I'm sitting here on camera looking at Zach's head, I'm like, yeah, there's something missing on mine. Feeling a little air up there today. So we are happy to be here with you. And of course, we brought you into the World Cup with the primer last week. Hard to believe that last Wednesday, not a single match had been played. But now we know that Group A has had their first matches, as well as Group B, C, D, E, F, or pardon me, yes, I and J. Why I don't know my alphabet is beyond me. So I was doing it quick. That's the thing. That's what happens when you're running your finger on the screen and giving you the digital side and then also saying your ABCs. So let me try that again. It's okay. I'm a broadcaster. I speak for a living. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. For everybody that has a name that starts with H, my apologies, including my friend Henry from high school. So K and L have not competed yet. They will, but we're going to get things started with discussing Group A. And for those of you that don't know, let us set the table for you here, pun fully intended in connection to what we're doing with Gray's Craze. So let's hop into the action for the initial match for each of the countries in Group A. And so Mexico, Korea Republic, Czechia, and South Africa all involved here in their first match. Mexico and Korea both won their first games, which means that they have 3 points in the World Cup. Czechia and South Africa were obviously on the wrong side of these things. Korea Republic defeating Czechia, Mexico defeating South Africa. So as of right now, we have 2 teams in Group A with 3 points and 2 teams with 0. For those of you that don't know, or maybe just jumping into the World Cup world, we have, if you get a victory, you get 3 points. If you tie, you get 1. If you lose, you get nothing, because unlike sports that they teach kids nowadays, not everyone gets a trophy in the World Cup. So your thoughts on Group A is, unlike other groups that have a bunch of one-pointers here, Group A has already had separation, and if Mexico or the Korea Republic are to win again, they might be knocking out Czechia and South Africa really quick.
Yeah, this group kind of went the way I thought it would. South Korea there did a good job to get a come-from-behind win because they did go down 1-0. And then the opening game against Mexico, what some fireworks to start with there with 3 red cards. I mean, that was I didn't have that on the bingo card to start the tournament, but
yeah,
it provided the fireworks. So right now, those 2 teams strong positions to advance, especially with this format. But I think if they both win their second game, then that might be a wrap for that group pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think either one of us are surprised about Mexico. The Korea Republic, which, they're known as here, but obviously South Korea.
Yeah.
So, seeing what they were able to do in their bounce back to get the victory, that was huge. I mean, did they surprise you at all in a positive way? Are you looking forward to a Mexico-Korea Republic matchup? Do you think they showed you something that could shake a little, even if they don't defeat Mexico? Do you think that they could compete with Mexico, or do you still see them as, they got their first victory, but they'd be a wild card in this thing?
I think they could give Mexico a good run for the money. I think that's a game where it's 50-50. And the thing with Korea, though, is that was kind of one of those games where you see a team, kind of playing with their food a little bit, wasting chances before they finally put them in the net when it really mattered. It was like, oh, now we're losing, we probably need to put it in the net kind of deal.
Yeah.
But I think they'll give Mexico a run for their money. I mean, I don't think there's one team in this group that's clear-cut like a lot of people
I think they'll give Mexico a run.
But I think South Korea will definitely surprise a few people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see that. I mean, I'm not surprised in Mexico, like you said. I'm not surprised they got 3 points to start, but to see Korea do that and not split with Czechia, I think that that's an awesome thing. And, well, did they play? I'm thinking they played Czechia, right? Because Mexico played South Africa.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, all right. I was like, I'm very confident in that, but then Zach, he looked at me, and I was like, am I wrong? So, but
No.
It feels like it was like a month ago that they had these first matches. We waited forever, and then it feels like last Thursday was, back in like March or something. It's so weird how it feels like it was a long time, but then we still have groups that have not competed yet.
Yeah, this tournament moves pretty quickly. One day it's one storyline, then the next day another storyline's created.
Yeah, it moves so fast. But yeah, to the Korea Republic side, it is good to see them get a victory here and push Mexico. Obviously, Mexico, Canada, and the United States of America, that you want to win, but you're on your soil. So, I mean, this is not only let's get a victory and let's do it for the country, but this is also like, let's not get bumped out of the tournament that we're hosting.
Yeah.
So I know Canada has had their struggles, and we'll discuss that here. But yeah, good for Mexico, good for the Korea Republic, Czechia, and South Africa. Got to wake up here for sure. Wake up call. I feel that it needs to be said. Group B, we have Switzerland, Canada, Qatar, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And Qatar and Switzerland, they were, I mean, we look at the decisions here, everybody's got a point because
everybody's got a point. Everyone's got one goal scored. Everyone's got one goal against. So it's basically as if we're just starting again.
Right. And in the case of Qatar and Switzerland, Switzerland was up.
Yeah, they were nearly there for the win.
We go into, I believe, 6 minutes of stoppage time and play not to lose. Qatar goes and scores a goal while Switzerland is up 1-0 and trying to get out of it. Your thoughts on that? Is this going to come back to bite Switzerland that Qatar was able to respond in stoppage time?
It could come back to haunt Switzerland because, you know, this is a group where there's not really a clear favorite, but any four of these teams could advance.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's all still tied in every respect.
Right.
After one match is
they're going to flip a coin.
Hey, if they go through all the tiebreakers, that is literally the last tiebreaker. Flip a coin.
Yeah, I know. And I joke about it, but then also in all seriousness, that very ridiculous thing that comes down to, you know, who would advance, that's in multiple sports. It's not just in the World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, to go through 3.5 years of qualifying, play 3 group games where you're just pouring your heart out.
And then flip a coin.
And then, flip a coin, chance. It's like...
Who's flipping the coin? Is it two-face? Because if it's two-face, it's heads on both sides.
I feel like the president of FIFA would have to flip the coin.
Right. Is it ever tails, though? I always feel like it's typically heads.
Yeah, usually the coin flip at like things like a Super Bowl is heads most of the time.
Yeah, so whoever gets to pick, if you pick heads...
You're feeling pretty good.
It's supposed to be 50-50. I think it's like 60-40. No, 70-30 maybe. But yeah, I mean, so, and then Canada and Bosnia-Herzegovina. Canada underwhelmed me.
Yeah, they looked a little sluggish.
And I mean, I want to see them, or I mean, again, them, the United States, Mexico, you're representing your country, you're playing in your country. This is the North American World Cup. We don't know the next time it's going to happen, if it ever happens again. So I would like to see Canada wake up here. I'm concerned because I honestly think Qatar, and I really truly believe if things keep going this way and they all keep going toe-to-toe and playing each other close, I have a thought, just like a low-key, could be high-key after the second game, that if this is how things are going and nobody's really head and shoulders showing themselves to be better, I could see Qatar sneaking up and winning this thing.
They could.
Honestly, because I mean, I'm not sold on Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm definitely not sold on Canada. And I'm not sold on Switzerland because Switzerland didn't know how to take care of stoppage time. So,
yeah.
I mean, and that header was so awesome.
That was a great header. And they've had 4 years to develop more as a team. And I think that's been very important for them. So I don't think because last World Cup, it's, we're the hosts. We have that pressure, and they didn't really do much, and they had a much tougher group. This time, they have a more manageable group, and they've developed more as a team.
I figured out how Italy can get in the next World Cup. Host it. Because the host automatically they qualify.
Correct. However, the 2030 and 34s have already decided a host. So.
Can we change them? Can we make a call? Do you have people that you know?
Not in FIFA, my friend.
It's all right.
Golf, maybe, but not in FIFA.
I tried. So,
but I respect it. There is also another way they could qualify.
Yeah.
Win the games.
Win the games. And of all the countries, because I thought it was Qatar, right? But then whenever you hear, and I don't know if it's the accent because there's so many people that are not American that are doing these games, and you always hear Qatar, like that's the Qatar, Katar. So
because everyone's used to a U having to be after the Q, but it's not there. So I think that's why
they say Qatar. But yeah, I say Qatar. So yes, Group B is just snake eyes, baby. They're all lined up together, and we'll see if and when they separate themselves. But I want to let it be known here on the show, don't count out, I'm going to say Qatar or Qatar, however they want to say it, but I'm going to say Qatar. So I think they could win this thing. I really do. I'd probably say them and Switzerland, and then I would put Canada and Bosnia behind
I'd say
them.
at the moment, yeah, those two.
Group C has Scotland, Morocco, a little old country called Brazil, and then we have Haiti, which is actually a baby country. So we, Haiti is obviously the DR, that connection, not too far from Puerto Rico. And so we have Scotland, who has 3 points. Morocco has 1, Brazil has 1, and Haiti has 0 because Scotland defeated Haiti. And so Scotland is now leading the group, and Morocco came up and they did what they needed to do against a powerhouse. Every single World Cup, the Brazilian team is a team that people circle as the team to beat. It's kind of like the Cowboys. It doesn't matter what they did the year before or how long it's been since they won a World Cup. They get circled as one of the teams to beat for their namesake. And Brazil going up against Morocco, Morocco stole it away and forced 1 point apiece. So now Scotland, to the thanks of Morocco, does not have to deal with Brazil being tied with them currently. Brazil's got to bounce back. Morocco could strike forward and do something good for themselves here to separate themselves from Brazil after getting that tie. Scotland keeps winning. They're going to be in good footing. We'll see how all of these teams respond, and Haiti needs help. But shout out to Morocco for shaking it up early.
Yeah, Morocco, they took the game to Brazil, and I think outside of Brazil's goal, I thought Brazil were really, really flat in their terms of their style of play. No Neymar playing because he's still nursing an injury. I kind of have to wonder if it was the right decision to put Neymar in the squad.
Yeah.
Because this is the first game. If he doesn't play the second game, I don't know. And, and I think with Brazil, Vinny Jr., great goal, but outside of that, did not really offer much because I think they struggled with Morocco's physicality. But it was a tight game. It ended 1-1, which is kind of what I thought it would end, as a draw. But I don't know. I was not convinced by Brazil. I thought they were more flat than Canada, to be honest with you.
Okay, so you thought that Brazil was more underwhelming than Canada.
I agree.
Okay.
Now, granted, they played a tough team, but even so, some of the decisions in attack were interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, so Brazil putting themselves in a place where, again, like other teams out there, are going to have to strike quickly in these group stages in their second match coming up in Group C. And Morocco, I love it. I love seeing it. Scotland's feeling good right now, but I will tell you this. My gut feeling is Scotland, as good as you feel, I think that's on shaky ground. I don't think Scotland is necessarily going to run away with this thing. And keep in mind, they faced Haiti. They still have to face Morocco and Brazil. And if Morocco's playing Brazil this way and Brazil bounces back, those are going to be 2 really tough games for Scotland.
Yeah, and I'll give Haiti credit. They lost, but it wasn't like a blowout. It was just 1-0.
Right.
They played well. Scotland, they got 3 points in the bag. I think 1 more point will probably get them at least through to the knockouts. But you got 2 tough teams left, so who are you getting that point against?
Right, absolutely. And so I like how, as we're going through the groups here, on your board, I'm putting the teams that are in the lead. Group B, I just put a giant question mark.
Yeah, we don't know what to think for that one. It's literally anyone's game because everything's the same.
I left it up to the Riddler. Group D, we have the United States of America. Some of you may know them. And then we have Australia, Turkey, and Paraguay. And in this group, 2 teams have victories, the United States and Australia. And then Turkey coming away with 0 and Paraguay with 0 in this first game in Group D. The United States defeating Paraguay, and I believe it was the first time that they've won by a separation of 3 goals since 1930, winning 4-1. And then Australia defeating Turkey gives them the 3 points. So the United States and Australia leading Group D with a full 3. and Turkey and Paraguay needing their first points here coming up in the second match. Your thoughts on America coming out to a 4-1 victory, having one of the biggest margins of victory and one of the teams that has scored the higher portion of goals in these openings. It's in this opening stage of the World Cup.
I think they did very well in their first game because I think for 5 minutes, opening 5 minutes, you could tell that there was intent in the attack. Now, the first goal was an own goal, but they all count the same.
Yeah.
And I think just after that, that really just allowed them to keep attacking because it was 3-0 by halftime.
Yeah.
And because, when you're a host, the one thing you have to keep in mind is that the hosts don't participate in qualifying games.
Yeah.
So they don't get a lot of competition outside of tournaments and maybe friendlies against the tougher teams if those teams choose to send their strongest players.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with the question with this team after such a bad showing at the Copa America in 24, which made them hire Pochettino, was would this team be developed and ready? I think they answered a lot of questions in their first game, and I think they will keep going because the attacking intent is there. This is another team where we've had 4 more years to develop. You see a lot of players in the U.S. squad now playing in the bigger European leagues.
Yeah.
And I think that's really increased the talent level to where we're now seeing results like this. So I think the United States, they're looking pretty good right now. The fact that there's 2 teams in the group that are both on 3 points gives them a great chance to at least make sure they get out of the group. But I think after the first game, I think the expectation has to be win the group because I think they were one of the better teams so far through one game.
Yeah, I mean, and they will face Australia. What did you see from Australia, and do you think that could be a challenge to the United States? Do you feel that Australia did something against Turkey that sticks out in such a way that makes you to believe a team riding the high like the United States would have a struggle against them?
I think Australia did well. I definitely think they had the tougher first game rather than the U.S., and Australia did well to win. I think that Australia will kind of let us see. I feel like this game will be a lot closer, and if it's sitting at 1-1 or a 0-0, we're going to see the opportunity if this U.S. team has the grit to grind out a win. They get a goal from a set piece, scrap it out, hang on for a draw? Can we get through this game to put ourselves in a great position to get another point on the board and look really good for the knockouts? Because Australia is a team where it's like the U.S. We get to the World Cup, and we're going to see what happens. So I think both of those teams have something to prove, but I think the U.S. I hope they win, but for some reason that game screams draw to me.
Between the two of them?
I would say so.
I'm seeing like 2-2, 1-1, somewhere around there, maybe 2-2. So, yeah, I mean, I think it'll be great, and we're going to see it. It will be coming up here in the group stages. And as we continue the conversation here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios, we will take a step aside for a fast break. We've gone groups A, B, C, and D. See, I learned my ABCs quickly. So we got through it, and as of right now, Mexico, the Korea Republic, Scotland, the United States, and Australia in a good position right now through their first match, knowing that there will be 3 matches apiece for each country in this initial group stage of the FIFA World Cup here in 2026 in North America. We will come back on Wake Up Call outside of the fast break inside these Great Lakes Honda City studios with Group E. Germany, I love how they write this Côte d'Ivoire. So Côte d'Ivoire, which is the Ivory Coast. We'll get into Ecuador and Curacao. And Curacao, the smallest country that is in the World Cup. We will discuss how that group stage is going for Group E specifically and what that could be, and a little monkey wrench for some people, but something I'm excited about. So Group E is up next after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We call it World Cup on Call, and this gentleman, Zach Bowden, and I will be back to discuss it. Shout out to Disney prior to the World Cup for getting these soccer shirts out for the World Cup. So I got the shield with the Rescue Rangers, and I also have one where Goofy looks to be having a fun and maybe a little crazy time inside of a goal. So we'll see if I wear that one next week. But the World Cup on Call is here on Wake Up Call. We'll be back right after this fast break. Stay with us.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the Classic Cabin, Executive Cabin, Grand Cabin, and Luxury Cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily?
Hello, this is Dylan Husted, the owner of the Baked Potato Express. We do mostly big festivals or big corporate like private events. Typically just big festivals such as like Taste of Syracuse, a food truck battle, Battle of the Wings. I do the state fair. They're ordering from a fresh food truck that is making real food and happy to make it and wants them to enjoy every bite. We season every potato before they go in the oven, and then they bake for an hour, and when they come out, we season them again after we cut them. We use real butter, real cheese, real ingredients, so it's all really good food and people love it. We have a lot of returning customers and regulars that we see very often. The customers really make a big impact, and this is a big food truck community. The events here are super busy. It's like in my blood. I like building things and creating stuff that people love, and me and my friends are the ones that run the truck, so it's kind of, we keep it's a tight circle in there, and we have like a family sort of oriented truck, and it's a lot of fun, and we have a good time doing it, and people love our food, so it ends up making it well for everybody. You can contact the Baked Potato Express at thebakedpotatoexpress@gmail.com or the Baked Potato Express on Instagram or TikTok. We are very happy to be partnered up with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as the exclusive sponsor of the Annoying Moment of the Week. And be sure to try DT's Baked Potato creation at all of our food trucks. The Baked Potato Express. Let's get baked.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family
and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmar family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. We have a delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. So appreciate you all for being with us. Thank you for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora once again inside these Great Lakes Honda City Studios, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.mixlr.com. So however you're tuned in to the broadcast, we always appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We call this World Cup on Call, as myself and Mr. Zach Bowden talking about the World Cup here, and we've gone through groups A through D. It is now time for us to jump into Group E, which is led by a little old country that we all know as Germany. And Germany's been having some fun to start things off here, as the Germans have 3 points, and I'm excited about this. The Ivory Coast has 3. I just prognosticated. They have 3. I think the Ivory Coast, this is my monkey wrench to some people, but this has been my low key of all the countries, the 48 countries. This has been one of my, I'm hoping for the best. I'm going to circle them, underline it, and hope they make it out of the group stages. And then we have Ecuador and Curacao, the smallest country that is inside of the World Cup. They were able to score a point against Germany. They were able to get a goal, but they didn't come away with overall points. They were in the thing early, got a goal. Eventually, Germany did what Germany does, which is be very, very effective. And so goals against 1, and they have 6 in their favor because, you know, Germany is that team that if you're not careful, they will lead an onslaught. And so they have 3. The Ivory Coast has 3. And then the other half, Ecuador and Curacao, with 0. Your thoughts on Germany and the fact that Curacao at least got a goal against them? And then I know Ecuador doesn't have any points. They lost to the Ivory Coast. But did Ecuador show you anything? So how do you assess Group E right now?
Well, it kind of went the... Well, actually, I'd say it went halfway how I thought it would. I knew Germany was maybe going to put a number. Granted, the last time a World Cup game that ended 7-1 in Germany's favor was a little more famous. Sorry, Brazil. But you know, good for Curacao to get their first World Cup.
Pardon me, it was 7-1. It was the 6-goal differential.
Yeah.
They scored 7, and only 1 goal to Curacao. So my apologies on that. I said 6.
I mean, you're trying to give Curacao one less goal. It's okay.
I was trying to take one away, Curacao, hoping
good.
that you would score more goals against Ecuador or Ivory Coast, maybe even yourself out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Curacao had a nice moment scoring a goal. Germany kind of took over at that point. The Ecuador-Ivory Coast game, I made it a point to say that this was one of the group games to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We were nearly disappointed until Ivory Coast popped up with a goal at the end. They launched a quick counterattack and made it pay off. Ecuador, I was a little disappointed. The team that, scored a lot in qualifying, they seemed to struggle in the attack. It's hard to find the finished products in some teams, but Ecuador, they just couldn't find it, and ultimately they paid for it in the first game.
Yeah, I mean, and of these two teams, I mean, Curacao played Germany. Mm-hmm. So even though that game was 7-1 and Germany now has a goal differential of 6 in their favor, do you think that Curacao, is that more of Germany so good and Curacao is the smaller country, just had a massive first game? I mean, is it more Germany's such a good team than it is Curacao can't compete? I mean, do you think that they can do something against the Ivory Coast or against Ecuador? Is there a path to them or a road, or did they really show in that first game that they're not going to make it out of the group stage? Like, is this a Germany problem or is this a Curacao problem, essentially?
I think it's both. I mean, realistically, I hope they can do something, but if we're going to base it just off the first game, I think we saw Curacao more as a happy to be their team, which we're happy to have them.
Yeah.
But, when you're playing a country that's played in your first World Cup and you're playing against a team that has obviously a lot more talent than you in the history, it's usually not going to end well. They got a positive moment, but the overall was, our first World Cup game ended 7-1. It's not exactly something, but they're happy to be there. But you have to go through those growing pains. I think for Curacao, this tournament's going to be that.
Yeah.
I think maybe they could snatch a draw against one of the other teams. A win, though, we'll see.
I think
I hope for more, but realistically, I think Curacao is more a happy to be their team.
I think they can draw and probably have a low-scoring game against Ecuador.
Yeah.
But the Ivory Coast, that's my low-key circle. Like I said, there's a few countries going into this 2026 FIFA World Cup that I said you may not think about them, but they're on my mind. And Ivory Coast is one of the teams that I would like to see move forward. I don't really worry about Germany moving forward. So on the big board here that we have as we go through the group stages, of course, we're going to put Germany as they are in a good position, but I'm also going to put the Ivory Coast as a potential, I'm going to do a little star here, as a potential team to move forward.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I like it. So, Ivory Coast, just so you know, from the comfort of my own home, I am cheering you on. Sweden, Japan, the Netherlands, and Tunisia, Group F. There's only one team that's got 3, and that is Sweden, who defeated Tunisia. And in that game, goals for Sweden, 5. Goals against 1. Their differential is 4. So Sweden came out striking, and then the Netherlands and Japan decided it would be really fun if they just split it. Yeah. So, why take the entire Twix bar when you can give half to somebody else? Apparently, Japan and the Netherlands, as much as they love the candy bar, thought, let's be nice to each other. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to work out in the long run, but somebody got the left side Twix and somebody got the right. So, and people are saying, why are you talking about candy? 1, I'm hungry. 2, I love Twix. And 3, because it's a draw and I'm trying to show that countries can work together. I think this was by mistake. They were not trying to work together, but the Netherlands.
I don't think the Netherlands sees it that way. Japan, maybe.
I'm trying to make a Twix out of an issue here, but Japan and the Netherlands have now split. I don't undercut Japan in any way, shape, or form. And maybe that's because as a country, I respect them on the women's side for what I saw them do growing up when they went up against the United States and defeated the United States when Hope Solo was in goal for the team. But so Japan is a team that, men's or women's, I'm not going to discredit. at the same time, the Netherlands I believe they're the spoiler team. They're the ones that are not going to make any game easy for anyone. I'm also not surprised when the Netherlands draws with anyone because I feel like I expect them to at least get a point. If they're not going to win, I don't anticipate that they come away with nothing. So I think the Netherlands are a dangerous team in any game. Japan, we'll see. Sweden could be smoke and mirrors right now, and Tunisia's got some work to do.
Yeah, Tunisia's definitely got some work to do. The one nice thing, before we even talk about the games, how nice is it that the Japan fans always clean up the stadium after themselves and the team leaves the dressing room sparkling clean?
Maybe Brazilians should learn that.
I think so.
And I'm saying that from having Brazilians come to Walt Disney World. And I'm not trying to knock you, Brazil. I'm saying a true statement. Don't get mad because you know it's true. But I've been at Disney where we're all eating outside and you get your tray. So you go quick service, you get your tray, you put it down. There's trash cans everywhere. And I witnessed a Brazilian group come in, eat their food, and then they all stood up and left all their trash on all the tables and walked away. And I have seen in instances with groups that come to Disney from Brazil that they do not have the respect for this country necessarily all the time. So to hear that Japan cleans up after themselves, I appreciate it and I respect it. And to Brazil, I would say maybe, just maybe, you can take your trash to the trash can.
They even got Jameis Winston helping them to pick up trash.
Japan did?
Yeah.
I love it.
He was at the game wearing a Japan jersey with Winston on the back, and he was helping them.
Yeah. Well, famous Jameis. He picked, I mean, why? I wonder his connection with Japan, but
I don't know.
I do appreciate their cleanliness, and that cannot go understated. I always pay attention to the people that not only pick up their trash, but other, like when I leave a movie theater, I take my trash and I throw it out. And when I take my trash and throw it out, I walk by rows of people that ate their food, got up and left, which is the same thing that happened with Brazil and Walt Disney. So it's an America problem too. But I can't understand. You have to walk by the trash on the way out. So why are you not picking it up? And it's like, well, that's what these people get paid for. That's why they have salaries. I'm like, yeah, but it's your trash. And I just don't get the mentality of if you wouldn't do it in your house, why are you doing it somewhere else? Just my thought.
It's a lot of privilege.
I don't like when people if I'm at Disney and I go to walk my trash and somebody meets me before I get to it and they're like, I'll take it. And I'm like, no. They're like, no, I got it. And I'm like, no, I can bring it. And they're like, no. Like, this is my job. I always feel bad handing it over.
Yeah.
If I like ate my food, got up and walked away, I feel like my mom would slap me in the back of the head and I would have earned that slap. So Japan, your hospitality is incredible. And I'm happy that you caught that. I'm happy that you brought it up.
Glad they got a point too.
Yeah. I think you should get 2 points because you cleaned up your space. Can we give it 2? Can we give another?
I wish.
We can on this show.
On this show, yes.
Japan, you have 2.
In the standings, though, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Your dark horse, Sweden, did well.
Uh-huh.
Granted, they got their easy game out of the way first. Kind of
Right.
want to see how they do against the other 2 teams in the group. And then Netherlands, they have such an attacking philosophy that's most of their history. Sometimes they forget they have to defend.
Right.
And this was one of those games where Japan snuck up, took the point, and altered how this group looked. Because now, Netherlands are sitting in... Looks like they're just sitting in 3rd place just because J is before N, since we're on the theme of the alphabet today.
Right. Because they both have 2 goals for and 2 goals against.
Yeah, and 1 point.
And 1 point. So there's nothing, outside of a coin flip that's really keeping them apart and the alphabet.
Yeah. So they decided to do the letters instead of a coin flip to start. Right. But it's all right. Still kind of anyone's group, I'd say. But yeah, Tunisia's got a lot of work to do. They probably need a win in the next game, which it's going to be tough because Japan came to play and Netherlands are never an easy team to play just because, they're a gritty team. If they're down, they're going to put a tall striker up front, cross the ball in the box and find a way to get it done. If they're up, they're going to really try to make life difficult for you.
Yeah, and guess who Tunisia has coming up here on June 21st? They have Japan, which maybe they can draw or get points here in a victory. So maybe they can get 1-3 against Japan if they can have the ball bounce their way. I think potentially that would be, but then they have the Netherlands on June 25th, which I do not think they're going to win that game.
No, if they want any chance, it kind of just feels like Japan's in
That's the
a
place.
must-win game for Tunisia.
100%. So of this group, we feel good about who? Is this a question mark still?
I think even though Sweden's in the lead, I think it's still a question mark.
I would agree with you. I mean, you want to say the Netherlands, but they're in dangerous territory. They're going to have to bounce back quickly, and we'll see what they do. We go to Group G: New Zealand, Iran, Belgium, and Egypt. And how does this one shake out? Everyone's the same. 1 point apiece. Everyone drew in this matchup. And, people were talking about, is Belgium the Belgium of old? Is Belgium still a team to beat? Where do they stack up in the grand scheme of things? So everyone has a tie, and New Zealand and Iran both have 2 goals for, 2 goals against, and the 1 point. And Belgium and Egypt have 1 goal for, 1 goal against, and the point. So we have New Zealand and Iran leading the group because of the fact that they have more goals for than Belgium and Egypt, but they all come away with a draw point as they head into their second match of Group G. Your thoughts on this? I mean, is Belgium on the precipice of going from one of the dangerous teams to falling out of the group stages, or putting themselves in a situation where maybe they make it but are not necessarily the victor? Or do you think that this is maybe just shake it off, Belgium, you're going to win this group?
I hope it's shake it off, but when your 1 goal scored is an own goal, I think you have to have the alarm bells ringing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Belgium was very underwhelming against Egypt, and I don't think it's the Belgium of old. I mean, you still got Lukaku and De Bruyne, but they're just not the players they used to be. Age catches up to almost everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, defensively, they just didn't look solid. The attack looked all out of sorts. Belgium's saving grace is they have a world-class goalkeeper in Thibaut Courtois, who is the starter for Real Madrid of all teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think they will go as far as Courtois takes them.
Okay.
Because they need to figure out the attack, and they need to figure it out fast. Because if it wasn't for an own goal, they would have lost that game.
Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, like you said, an own goal, so it's not even your goal to celebrate.
Yeah.
It's an own goal. Egypt showed you something. I mean, because let's be real about this. The 2 goals scored in the game against Belgium are both Egypt's goals. One an own goal and one that was scored on Belgium. Did Egypt show you anything is question 1? And then your thoughts on Iran having an answer for New Zealand every time.
Iran did well. They obviously have some issues off the field that they are having to unfairly compete with. I mean, being forced out of the country on a 140-mile flight back to Mexico directly after their game, I think is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Iran did well. They are going to fight the fight.
Yeah.
And, I hope they continue to keep fighting that fight. With Egypt, I think we saw a little something, but I kind of want to see more.
Okay.
I kind of want to see more. I don't really know. They're right on the line for which way this World Cup could go for them.
Yeah.
I think they did well against Belgium. I do think it's partially Belgium came out flat, but I also will give Egypt some credit. I think their attack looked a little more linked up than Belgium's.
Yeah.
And, technically they did well to score too.
So this Iran thing, because of what's going on in the world itself, is this how they have to live life? Is after every match they're going to have to get out of the United States?
It appears so, and I don't think it's right. And this is the problem with FIFA. They don't get politically involved.
Yeah.
They always defer to the host country. But the majority of the games are in the United States.
Right.
Even though this is a tri-host World Cup. So they're going to continue to fight the good fight. They did well to walk away. I just wish that those circumstances were not like how they are.
Yeah, because I mean they're playing at a disadvantage in the fact that they're going to be having more travel and be in weird situations, have less time to be where they need to be. And it's, I mean, essentially they are put in a different situation than everybody else, which is outrageously unfortunate, and I don't like it. And it's not that any of these people on this team are doing anything nefarious. They're just trying to play the game. And, you know, in some respects, some of them may not want to go home.
Yeah.
So it is very sad. But to the Iranian players, congratulations on a fantastic game against New Zealand that has left everyone with 1 draw point and no one with 3 in this first game here that we have for Group G, the first game for each team. I'm not comfortable to call any of this.
I'm not either.
I got a good feeling about New Zealand more than Belgium, and I actually don't think that Iran is going to get bumped out. I think they might have a shot to get out of this thing.
I think Iran has a great chance, and they have a very experienced coach.
Yeah.
Carlos Queiroz, who, once upon a time, back when Man United were good, was the assistant manager to the legendary Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
And he has led Iran in multiple World Cups previously. So it's a coach the team knows.
Yeah.
And I think they will do very well to get that going.
Now we're going to skip Group H because I don't want to talk about it. So
come on.
All right, we'll talk about it.
Well,
So
we'll be nice. We'll be nice.
So Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, Spain, and Cabo Verde have all come away with 1 draw point. Thankfully for Spain, nobody won their match, or this could be worse. But to the goals for and goals against, Uruguay and Saudi Arabia each scored a goal. So they are leading the group because they actually have a goal scored in their favor, goal scored, goal against. Spain and Cabo Verde ended the game like it didn't even happen, 0-0. So everyone has a draw point, but Spain is yet to score a goal. Uruguay is a team that I'm concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go with Spain. 1 point. They, in my opinion, need 3 in their next matchup they have in Group H. And I'm just going to say, I think right now the team to beat in this group, in my opinion, as we sit today with World Cup on call inside of these Great Lakes Honda City studios on Wake Up Call, in this group, the driver's seat right now, in my opinion, is Uruguay. In this moment.
I agree. I wouldn't count out Saudi Arabia. And if we really want some fireworks, after that performance, shout out the Cabo Verde goalkeeper, 40 years old, for having the game of his life.
Yeah.
What if we replace Spain with Italy?
Replace Spain with Italy?
Yeah. After that performance.
Yeah.
Here's my main issue with Spain. You leave Alvaro Morata, a striker, out of the squad. And it's not like he doesn't know how to put the ball in the net because, well, he's Spain's all-time top goal scorer.
Yeah.
I wonder if that decision's going to come back to haunt them.
Please don't say anything that's going to haunt them.
I'm not. I said you got to wonder. But then Lamine Yamal only playing 20 minutes. Clearly he's got a little bit of a fatigue issue going on because I know Barcelona plays him every minute during the season with 60 games a season for many of these big clubs.
Right.
Spain, we're not going to hit the panic button on Spain just yet. But there's definitely concern there.
I'm happy that they got a point. I'm not happy they didn't score a goal, and I'm absolutely not happy that they didn't get 3 points in this in the comfort of my own home. But as I tell people all the time, and I joke around here, but impartial is a thing that you have to be as a broadcaster. It's a cardinal sin to be partial. So my honesty as a broadcaster, Uruguay, and I agree with you. When I said Uruguay is leading the charge, I'm also not taking my eyes off of Saudi Arabia. Spain has Saudi Arabia next. They're going to have to get 3 there because the Uruguay game, I do not want, for Spain's sake, I don't want the game against Uruguay to be the only game that they're fighting to get 3 for. If they go into that game with just 2 points, that's a danger zone for me.
Yeah, I think if that Saudi-Spain game ends in a draw, then we're going to start ringing the alarm bells.
Right, and seeing if Spain can get a couple goals in there, at least get 1 to give themselves some separation. You don't want to come away with a 0-0 matchup and wonder about the offense there. But Cabo Verde, credit to you for what you did against Spain and how you held them and did not allow a single ball through the net in the matchup. So that one's in a place where I feel comfortable putting Uruguay here at the moment. And then we're going to see, is it going to be, and we may see this in the next matchup because they're facing each other, is it Saudi Arabia or is it Spain? So I'll put them as a slash right now.
Yeah, I think you have to after that performance.
Let's get into Group I.
Yes.
As you all know, folks, we only got as far as H in former World Cups, but now we have I, J, K, and L because they added 16 countries, going from 32 to 48. So Group I has Norway, France, Senegal, and Iraq. And here's the interesting thing. When I'm putting out these videos of setting the table, proudly presented by Gray's Craze at Clay, New York, where you should get your snacks for these games. They have the meat and cheese boards, they have sweet boards, and of course they have fruit and nuts that get put in this as well. Their breads are baked in-house, their cookies are in-house, as well as all of the dips and spreads that they give to you in these premium boxes and boards. Make sure you call Gray's Craze at 315-409-4171, or you visit them and order online on any of your devices at grayscraze.com/clay-ny. Order from them today and make sure you're eating well while you're watching these games all throughout the day. Norway, France, Senegal, and Iraq. When I'm putting these posts together for Gray's Craze and setting the table, every time you use a hashtag in the country, the flag shows up. Guess the only country who doesn't have a flag show up as a graphic? Iraq. So Norway, France, Senegal, and Iraq come out of this 2 with points, 2 with nothing. Norway and France each have 3 points in this. And as you look at that first game for France, goals for, 1, goals against, goals for, 3, goals against 1. So that gives them a differential in their favor of 2. They defeated Senegal 3-1. And Iraq loses to Norway 4-1. So not only do Norway and France have the 3 points here to start things off for Group I, but they also have a good amount of goals in their favor. Norway with a differential of 3 and France with a differential of 2, which puts Norway in the driver's seat. I'm not surprised that the top 2 teams in this group after one game are Norway and France, but Senegal and Iraq. Did you see anything good from either one of these teams? And do you believe that Norway and France will continue to lead?
I think they will continue to lead. I think Senegal really is going to regret missing all those chances in the first half, because the first half ended 0-0. Really had a couple opportunities to put the ball in the net. They probably should have, but they didn't. And I think that will come back to haunt them, both that game and their group stage.
Senegal, with all those chances early on, what did you see from them? Where they were close,
yeah, I mean,
but didn't come away.
To their credit, they took the game to France quite nicely, which is quite a surprise. But unfortunately, in this sport in particular, for a pressurized setting, the finished product is always the hardest to achieve, and they just didn't achieve it. Well, they achieved it once, but by then it was kind of too late. And then when they did achieve it, France then responded with a goal literally a minute after to make it 3-1.
If Iraq can get points against Senegal, is there anyone that between Norway and France that you think they could steal something from? Is there a weakness in Norway or France?
I'm going to have to say no. I mean, both offenses are firing, and so unless you got a guy scoring a hat trick, I think Iraq's it's going to be really tough for them to get out of this group, especially after the way the first game ended, because you're already down in the goal difference, so you have to get the points, because if it's the 8 best third place teams, that goal difference is going to come into play, because all those teams are probably going to have the same points, if not off by 1.
Yeah, and they got to work their way up this thing because they're in the negative. Senegal with -2 in goal differential, and Iraq with -3. I'm going to say this right now, the Norway-France matchup, I'm going to say that is a 4-3 game. I think there's going to be 7 goals scored. I think it's going to be them literally pound for pound up against each other, offense, and then whoever can get the final goal.
I agree. And it's hard to say because France has Mbappe, Norway has Erling Haaland.
Yeah, I see 4-3, but that was what I was going to say is I don't know necessarily who's going to be that for.
Yeah.
I do think that's going to be a great game, and I'll say this right now. Not only do I think they're leading this group outside of this first match, I'd say they continue to, but I think Norway and France will both move ahead, and I believe they will both be a problem in the next phase of this World Cup.
I agree.
So we're going to go ahead on the big board and put Norway and France when it comes to Group I. And then that'll bring us to Group J, and we'll have a little note here on K and L with just a couple minutes left of World Cup on call here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Zach Bowden, who was with me years ago, is rejoining me for the World Cup as we will discuss every single matchup, everything that's going on, all of these countries, and we will follow you all the way through to the 2026 FIFA World Cup champion country, and we hope that time goes by slow so we can enjoy the road to get there. Norway and France, that's of any group that we've talked about, that's the group where I think they have the two powerhouses at this moment. Group J, speaking of a powerhouse, Argentina and everything that we've seen from them. Messi, of course, now rising up the ranks of the goals scored by an individual in a World Cup. Argentina has 3, Austria has 3, Jordan and Algeria come away with 0. Argentina goals for, 3 goals against, 0. So their differential stays at 3 in their win over Algeria. There was some excitement for Algeria yesterday that potentially early on in the game they could have gotten out early, gotten a goal, done something, but ultimately Argentina takes care of business and Algeria does not get in the net. And between Austria and Jordan, Austria gets 2 goals of differential in their favor in a 3-1 victory, as Jordan will now be behind. So Argentina is in first place with a goal differential of 3, followed by Austria of a goal differential of 2. Both of those teams have 3 points in the first part of the group stage in J. Jordan and Algeria will be chasing here. Is Austria a problem, and can anybody in this group stop Argentina?
I don't think anyone in this group will stop Argentina unless Argentina stops themselves.
Fair.
With the theme of impartiality, I think everyone here knows I'm a big Ronaldo fan. But to Messi's credit, great hat trick. And he is now tied for most goals scored all time in the World Cup. And he will probably break that record in the next game. So he's a great player. With Argentina, everyone says, oh, it's always hard to defend the World Cup because last 30 years, a lot of times the champion at the next World Cup exits the group stage. I don't think we're going to have that happen with Argentina. They looked very lively. They scored the goals, and a Messi hat trick. So that means at the moment, Messi is the top goal scorer at this World Cup.
And they did say at one point in this match that the entire stadium was on their feet chanting for Argentina. So Argentina, shout out to the fans, making them feel like they're at home. And of course, they are the defending champion of the World Cup of 4 years ago. And as Zach said, I don't think that this is going to be one of those, hey, we won, and now all of a sudden we fall off the map. I think Argentina's in good footing. We'll see what Austria can do, but we both feel good about the defending champion of the Men's World Cup, with Argentina and Messi about to break a record, we would imagine, coming very soon. Groups K and L have not competed, but they will today. All 8 of these countries are in full effect, and they will decide who is going to give us some early on excitement, hopefully, or maybe they all draw. We'll see. Group K of Portugal and the Congo Dominican Republic, Uzbekistan, and Colombia, England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. And I will let you know, of course, in the video that we will have all set up for you, as we always do, how this is going to break down. But just so you all know, for today's matchup, and I'll let you know early on here, that we have a game that is going to be at 1 p.m. And so that game at 1 p.m., Portugal and the Congo DR will face off against each other. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have Uzbekistan and Colombia. Those are both in Group K. And in Group L, England will face off against Croatia at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and that will be followed at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with Group L's matchup of Ghana and Panama. So these are the only countries to have not competed yet. Who are you thinking is going to come out of this with points of these two groups?
I think because of the matchup, I think Portugal will. And I
agree.
think for their game, it's important to get firing early.
Mm-hmm.
Build up the goal difference, get the points, and move on. Because almost every star has played and arrived. Now we have, in my mind, the star, Ronaldo. Especially after the Messi hat trick last night. And for him, it's the opportunity to be the first player to ever score in 6 World Cups.
Yeah.
Messi made it 5 last night, which Ronaldo did the last World Cup, because I still don't understand how, but Messi didn't score in 2010. That amazes me.
Mm-hmm.
But get Portugal firing. I'm very adamant this is the dark horse because the rest of the squad around Ronaldo is world class.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Portugal will get points. I think the England and Croatia game, that's obviously the big group game today. That might have goalless draw written all over it because Croatia is kind of like Uruguay. They make life very difficult for everyone, and they still got the experience to go far.
Yeah.
So with Colombia, we'll see where they're at. I think Ghana maybe gets it done against Panama, so maybe we see Ghana at the top of Group L.
Yeah.
But I fully expect Portugal to come out firing, and this could kind of be like the Germany-Morocco game where we start getting a goal fest.
Yeah, I mean, I would venture to say that I believe Portugal is going to get points. I do agree with you on that. I think Portugal will come away with points, and we'll see what their goal differential looks like. I feel the best about them getting 3 points plus some positive goals moving forward out of their first game in group stages. I think Colombia needs to be on alert that Uzbekistan could tie that game. I could see that being a 1-1 matchup. I don't disagree with you that England could be in a place with Croatia where they don't necessarily have a great first game, and that could be a tie. I could also see that going 1-1, and I think Ghana's going to come away with a victory. So at feet to the fire, I have Portugal and Ghana getting 3 points. England may be tying with Croatia, and I don't know if Colombia is safe right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks that I don't think are going to be answered until we see the first match for Colombia.
Yeah, so we shall see. But this has been World Cup On Call with my guy here, Mr. Zach Bowden. And I'll put a note. So we have Argentina, and these are left to be seen, these last 2 groups. And, of course, we appreciate you being here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We're going to take a step aside, and we'll be here back live with Scottie Rodgers right after this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG cards and breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Make your way over to GG Cards and Breaks today and make a memory getting closer to the teams as well as the players that you love and the games you love to play. It's all about being a big kid and fanning that spirit. No matter how old you are, you can always get close to the action by finding those cards to add to your collection, buy, sell, and trade together, and make a memory on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5, and many thanks to GG's for all that they do. Big time thank you to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt with their pineapple dragon fruit drink. I tried it yesterday and it was fantastic. On the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard, you can find them with the favorites you love, the original, the spicy, the grilled, the mac and cheese, and more. Of course, the new favorites like the frosted beverages and the pineapple dragon fruit at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. You can't miss it. Giant brick building on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. We look forward to you heading over there to see Megan Sorber and her team today. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, is my honor and my privilege to be bringing in the next guest, who is no stranger to the broadcast by any stretch of the imagination. So as we are here picture in picture, and I appreciate his patience as we were talking about the World Cup, and I want to get excited about my Spain, but they had some struggling moments, Mr. Scottie Rodgers, but America was looking pretty. We are here with Scottie Rodgers, VP of Communications for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and guess what? He's had a lot of honors over the years and a lot of great opportunities. He's networked like a champion, but I don't know if he's ever had anything better than what he just received, which was his home of the Atmore area in Alabama honoring him and inducting him into their Hall of Fame. So on the heels of that, as well as being out in Vegas with the NACDA, as well as the CSC, I'm here with Scottie Rodgers. Scottie, how are you?
Dan, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing very well, and it's always my honor and my privilege to have you here. What I love is, Scottie, is that whenever we get to do this, and I've been around you for years, but I love being around people, and I just talked about it with GG Cards and Breaks, that have that kid spirit, that love what they do, that have that smile. And I can say to you, Scottie, that we didn't know each other growing up as kids, but I see that kid spirit in your smile and just that passion that you have for what you do. And that's one of the things that I appreciate the most about you, is you haven't stopped smiling and you haven't stopped loving your job.
Dan, I've been very blessed to do something that a lot of people wish they could. As I've had a hell of a run these last 3 years, and I'm truly blessed for it. I'm a frustrated athlete who never had the skills, never was blessed with any of the skills to play the sport or sports that I wanted to play. I tried, and it didn't last very long. I mean, my athletic career, when your athletic career ends when you're about 16 years old and you have such a love for sports, I had to figure out something different.
Yep.
And fortunately, growing up where I did in a small town, I had those opportunities that started in high school and blossomed from there. But you mentioned my hometown. I'm from a little town called Atmore, Alabama. For those that don't know, it's in the southwest portion of the state. It's just an hour north of Mobile, and sits on the Alabama-Florida line, and an hour north of Pensacola. And to go home and get honored by my hometown, I still can't quite put my hands around it.
Yeah.
Totally honest with you, it's was very special to have family and friends there to celebrate it with me. Because I didn't go into that Hall of Fame by myself. Any of these honors I've been able to get, I don't get them by myself. There's been so many people that's helped me along the way. So I can't. I'm a man of a lot of words, but when I think about some of this, I become a man of very little words, because it's just so hard to encapsulate what I feel and what I want to say sometimes about all the things. But I'm very proud. Worked very hard to get recognition. I haven't worked hard to get recognition. I tell young folks all the time, I've been blessed to have a platform now, and I want to use it to let them know that if you think that I was working all this time so I could get some awards, you're sadly mistaken. You're not gonna get awards when you want them. I never thought I was gonna get awards. I just tried
Yeah.
to do my job and do it well and do it with a passion that, like you said, that kid-like mentality. Because when you're working in sports, you work a lot of hours, you miss a lot of things that you might want to do, but you gotta have a joy for it. Because if you don't, you're not going to really be successful. Yes, it's a job. Yes, it's something that helps keep your lights on, so to speak. But if you truly enjoy sports, and I enjoy the sports side of sports, but the business side and the industry side, I've gotten to love as well. And there's so many aspects of this business that are so intriguing and college athletics right now. And I know we're going to get into that. So I just thank you for giving me the platform to come here regularly and talk about what's going on in the world of college athletics, in particular college football.
Yeah, listen, it's an honor and a privilege. I was saying to Zach Bowden, who's with me every Wednesday for World Cup on call, and he's an encyclopedia. You can ask him about any one of the 48 countries that are competing, and he knows something about them specifically. And I said to him about you when we were getting ready to welcome you today. I said, Scotty, I pointed to your picture, and I said, this man gave me a chance a long time ago. I said, when you're working, especially working for yourself and creating your own brand, and I decided to, I was working with the ESPN affiliates and Fox Online and the Yahoo affiliate, and I decided to go and do my own thing by choice. When you're reaching out and you're working to get credentialed, somebody has to open the door. Somebody has to say, you know what, I'm going to give this kid a shot. I'm going to see what they can do. And you were one of the few people back then that gave me an opportunity, gave me a chance. And you opening the door to the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic opened the door to the college football playoff. And now I'm one of 400 media in the entire world that's covering the entire college football playoff, including the national championship. So, I mean, I said to Zach today, and I'll say to you on the air live, thank you for giving me the opportunity to show what I can do. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm going to bring to the table. And sometimes you bang on doors and people don't want to open them. And I banged on the door of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, and you opened that door. And you opening that door, I know what I was going to bring, but I needed somebody on the other side to give me that opportunity. And that opportunity has bred more opportunities. And I can never thank you enough, Scotty, for what you did network-wise, opportunity-wise, to give me a chance to show myself. And that's why I will always, always be grateful for our friendship off the air and professional relationship on the air, so to speak, because you were one of the people in the beginning that said, let's see what you got. And I appreciate that.
Well, Dan, I'm doing what somebody did for me, very simply. You needed somebody to open the door for you. I've needed people to open the door for me as my career went on. So when I sit in the chair that I sit in, whether it's at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic or any of the other spots that I've been in, I've tried to open the door for folks that I could assess and see that are trying to do it the right way. That's very important to me when it comes to it. Not everybody has all the followers. Not everybody has everything is so pretty and everything. The coverage of sports and the coverage of college sports and the coverage of college football has evolved in the last 20-ish years.
Yeah.
It doesn't look the same. It doesn't come always from the classic outlets that we're used to being there. Some of them have scaled down tremendously or not covering at all. So we have to be open to outlets that look different, that come at things differently, and you got to assess them. And a lot of it just comes down to gut. You got to go with your gut. You got to go with your see. You got to go with your gut. You got to go with people that you think that are trying to do the right things and give them a chance. And sometimes you get it right, and sometimes you get it wrong. I haven't been perfect on it. I can say that without hesitation. But what I feel like I've been able to do is to think about people who are trying to do the right thing, who wants to cover whether I was here or at the NCAA or at Tulane or Sunbelt or wherever I might have been, and giving them an opportunity to come in and showcase their skills as a journalist, as a broadcaster, as a content creator, trying to come in and showcase how they want to cover because it just looks different. in 2026 and beyond. And in the last several years, it's looked very different. So I appreciate folks like yourself who continue to grind, continue to do it the right way, continue to try, continue to reach out, continue to because you get a lot of no's, maybe when you don't think you should get no's. But hopefully the yeses that come through motivates you to keep going. And to you, Dan, if I go to, I know in a couple weeks when we're at ACC Football Media Day, you're going to be on the front row. You're going to ask a question of every coach. You're going to ask questions of every student athlete. Your questions are going to be measured. They're going to be informed. They're going to help the crowd learn more about what that coach and what they're planning to do. And that's what you've done as you've gotten in that room. See, people think they're guaranteed to get into that room or they're meant to get in that room. And that's just not the case. It is a privilege to be in that room. And there are some requirements to be in those rooms. And, we try to do that in a consistent way. I try to work with my fellow CFP Bowls and I champion in the room as much as I can to try to help the outlets that doesn't look traditional, that covers from a different perspective, because we have to be inclusive. I know some of these that word is a word people don't like using in today's world as much, but I'm gonna be that way because if somebody didn't allow me to be in that space and included me, then I wouldn't be where I am. So I have to do that. That's just a part of the requirement of me. I'm not the most religious person in the world, but as you know, one of my favorite Bible verses is Luke 12:48. To whom much is given, much is required. And I've been given a lot, so I'm required to do a lot. And I'm going to keep doing that for as long as folks allow me to do so.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate how you do what you do. I mean, when I walked in the room, I said to myself years ago, you're going to ask a question to every team. You're going to be prepared for every coach, every student athlete. Why? Because why wouldn't you? If I have 40 opportunities, why am I going to take 27? Why am I going to take 6? I'm going to take every opportunity I can. And some media people hate it about me, and I guess they hate that I work hard, and I appreciate them hating that I work hard. But I can't stop going after it. If you put me in a place where and it was the same thing on the teleconference. If you give me 14 coaches, why am I going to talk to 5? I have an opportunity to make my sports world small, build relationships. And if I didn't push myself in a way that I really don't see in the media across this country, I never meant to be different than anybody. I just meant to be who I am. And who I am is I want everyone in the room. I want to build a relationship with everyone. I will come forward to shake your hand. If you don't want to shake mine, if you don't want to have a bridge, that's on you. But I will build a bridge everywhere I possibly can. And so I don't look at it like I'm going to speak 57 times at the ACC. I look at it like I'm going to form 57 relationships. And if I didn't do what I did back in the day, I wouldn't have a friendship with Dave Doran. If I didn't do what I did back in the day, Dabo Sweeney and I wouldn't be talking away from everybody about our faith in God when no one's around and he doesn't have to do interviews anymore and he could have just walked right by me. If I didn't do what I do, Mike Norvell and I wouldn't have had a relationship 4 years before he got to Florida State. So, to your point, Scottie, of sitting in the front and asking all the questions, I never meant to be different. I know it's a rarity, and I've seen that over the years, but I never meant to be that way different from the media. I just know that I'm a go-getter, and I know that I'm going to take every opportunity you give me, and I'm going to take the ones that you don't give me too, because that's just who I am, and that's how God built me, and I'm never going to stop being that way.
But what you're doing is the tenets of journalism that we used to have. See, that's what people don't get. That's the tenets of what sports journalism, when it was at its height, was. And people forget that because they look at the way the world is now and how people come at it now. So that's why people like myself, it becomes easier when you see people like you and your outlet approaching the whole thing with those tenets of journalism. I'm as new school as I can be, but I'm definitely old school. So when I look at the outlets like yourself that are smaller, that are grinding, that are churning, I try to find where do I see those specks and multiple specks of journalistic integrity and approach. Those are the ones that need to get through. Those are just worried about their clicks. Yes, everybody wants clicks, everybody wants followers, everybody wants sponsors for their content, all the things. But I do think it's really important that we look just a little bit harder at those that are trying and those that are really putting forth the effort and give them a chance early. Because if you give them a chance early enough, not too early, because some people may not be quite there. I've had several people, I've denied a lot of credentials. But one of the things I try to do, I don't do it for everybody. I try to do as most I can. I try to send them an email and follow up and say, you were denied because of this. Not because I'm just being a mean person and I'm trying to deny you. You don't show these things. Show these things, and then my decision and other people's decision can be different. And I think that is a really important point as we sit here right now in today's world of sports media. And I think other outlets like yourself that might listen to this, other people who sit in chairs similar to mine, those are the things that I think we need to think about just a little bit more. And yes, it takes a little bit more time. Yes, it takes a few extra minutes to analyze, to check it out, to call a friend in the business and say, hey, what do you know about Dan? He's based here. Why does he want to come here? And then, or even look through whatever platform their content is on and try to look and see how it's presented and how it's formatted and actually reading the words that are there. It does take a few extra minutes, and we don't have those all the times. And you can't do it for every single one, but those that are sitting right there, I think it's really important to take that time because I do think the benefit down the road is for the betterment of the coverage of whatever sport, or in this case, the globalness of college athletics. And I think that's part of my job as I sit in the chair that I sit in.
Yeah, and I think everybody's got to be based somewhere, right? We got to sleep somewhere. But I built my company where I'm going to be based in my hometown so I could be close to my family, but I'm going to travel the world. And we've broadcasted from Italy, the Bahamas, Mexico, Canada. And I've had the absolute blessing of building out because of how we do it with the commissioner corner and the leagues and the conferences that we talk to and give everybody an even playing field in these NCAA Division I conferences. And we've talked to Division II, Division III, USCAA, NJCAA, that this is a national show and an international show, and I get to sleep where I grew up. And so I think I have the best of both worlds because I'm seeing the world, but I'm also getting to put my city on the map. And to that credit, you got to do the same thing with Atmore. I didn't know Atmore if I don't know Scottie Rodgers, but I know you said it's hard to find the words, but you've been honored. You've been inducted into this, inducted into that. I have seen someone that I respect on and off the air have so many wonderful things to share with us. And in these last couple of years, these last 2 or 3 years, seeing these posts from you of, I'm honored to have this, I'm honored to be inducted here. I am extremely proud, and as time goes on, less and less surprised that it's happening. But to know that Atmore, Alabama said, hey, that little kid that loves sports so much, trying to find his place in it, and when his playing days stopped, trying to find what he could do to never have to be out of the sports world, that little kid was just celebrated, not just the grown man. The person that had a dream and was going to find a way to get into the sports world and stay in, that little kid succeeded. So to you, Scottie, to come full circle, grow up in Atmore, have a belief, want to play, and then say, okay, I'm not playing anymore. Now I got to find another angle in. Not only have you done it, but you've done it at such an incredibly high level in things that only continue to grow around you and as you being a part of it. What do you want to say to little kid Scottie? Because guess what? You came through for him and you gave him more, I would say, than he thought he was going to get. What would you say to him today?
Dan, I've never played a significant down inning or second of significance on a field of play in the world of sports.
Yeah.
Never got that opportunity. But I've been able to sit here. I can sit and tell you that I'm finishing my 31st year of working in and around the sports industry as a professional, in addition to 3 years of doing it as an undergrad at the University of Alabama. Very simply, I would tell that kid, and I would tell any other kid that's trying to do this, you can have a career in sports no matter how much you played or didn't play. One of the things I say a lot is whatever interests you have in life, you can do in sports. You like to write, you can do it in sports. You like to build, you can do it in sports. You like to be in the yard and do things with agriculture, you can do that in sports. You like math, you can do that in sports. You like accounting, you can do that in sports. You like to market and do all the things, you can do that in sports. You like to name it. You like to paint, you can do that in sports. You can have a tie to the world of sports with pretty much every discipline
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And I think you need to go hone that craft. It's a dual plane. You got to hone that craft, and you got to hone your interest in sports. And the other thing I think, while you're honing the craft, the thing that you like to do, is learning about the business of sports. The people that are the separators right now, young folks in the middle of their career, folks like myself who are in the established portion of their career, you got to know the business. You got to know what's going on. You got to be in the know of what's happening. You got to be in the know of how you can help make a difference. And I think, when I think about that kid, and there's a story that I'll tell on a different podcast because it's a little long. Very, very early in my life, I realized that life was not fair, especially in the sports realm. And from that experience, as I started to get in, I had a clear understanding. I had a couple of things that happened along the way in the early parts of my career that let me know that life is not going to be fair, but it's not meant to be fair. You got to go out and you got to go get it, and you got to connect truly with people, and at the same time, the right great people will help you along the way. I will not get into starting to name names because we don't have enough time on this Zoom of the people that have helped me along the way. We will be here for hours if I started to name all the people that helped me because I've had a ton that helped me along the way and continue to help me. Many times when I don't know. And I think it's really important that people understand that you got to be genuine throughout the way. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it right every single time. But what you have to do is have a good conscience, a good spirit, and try to be as helpful as you can. Try to be as transparent as you can, and try to do everything that you can to help the enterprise of what you're dealing with. In this case, college football, college athletics, and I still got a lot of passion for it. I use the Robert Frost line from the poem, and I have miles to go before I sleep, and that's really important to me.
It is insane. I know you said you're not the biggest person of faith, but you know your Bible verses and whatnot. I have a very strong faith, and I don't hide it, never push it on anybody. And I am me. I was smiling when you just said what you said because you and I have connected in many ways, but Robert Frost right over my shoulder off camera, the book by my late great friend Floyd Little, which is called Promises to Keep. And one of his favorite quotes, and in connection to the title of his book, is Robert Frost's I have miles to go before I sleep and promises to keep. So the fact that you said that today, literally no surprise. And I think Floyd maybe is saying hello to the both of us, and a great man to say that to. I know you said you'd tell the story on a different day, different podcast, whatever it is, expanding on it. But if you would oblige me, I'd like to go a little bit into it because I think it's important and I don't want to leave it out of the conversation of you saying, my road to where I am today, I witnessed how unfair things are and how life is unfair. What you would like to share from that reality, because you have had to fight things that have nothing to do with Scottie Rodgers.
I'll try to make it as fast as possible. Um, 10 years old. I'm playing Little League Baseball in my hometown. My two older brothers, David and Andrew, had played. One brother's 8 years older, one brother's 10 years older. They were the first two black kids to play in the Little League across town, literally across the railroad tracks. They were very much better athletes and much better drummers in the high school band than I am. I was pretty good, but they were pretty good too. Uh, when I got to 11 years old, I tried out the because when in Little League, when you go from when you go to the 11, 12-year old, you go from pitching machine to a pitcher,
Yeah.
physical kid throwing the ball. Not an adult. You're actually up there. So I tried out when I was 11 years old, didn't make a team because they told me I wasn't good enough. Tried out when I was 12-year old, uh, and they told me I wasn't good enough. Now, I know the reason why. I think it was a payback for what had happened. And people in my town, I don't know who, I don't know what, but 12-year-old me was getting retaliated against. That's what I think. That's what I know. And so I go through my 12, I'm 12. It's summer, small town. Little League is basically one of the few things going on. Roughly halfway during the year, my dad was a security guard at a carpet factory, Maslin Carpets in my town. And one of the guys that he worked with, Danny King, was a coach of one of the teams, the 11, 12-year-old teams. And something happened, and there were some kids that dropped his roster. I don't really know why. So they were at work one day. He asked my dad, "Well, do your son want to play?" And my dad said, "Yeah, of course he wants to play." So he asked me to come play on his team. I hadn't played baseball in 2-ish years. I wasn't that great. But so I go out to a practice and maybe two before I play in my first game. I go out, first time in front of a pitcher, nervous as hell. Um, Go up to the plate, and I don't know what pitch it was, but I do know that I just closed my eyes and swung, and I hit the ball, uh, middle of the center field fence, drop down, stand up double, and I wasn't the greatest hitter, so the fact that I made contact was a blessing. But because I was short and a lot of times I walked a lot because I could crouch down a little bit. But anyway, I hit the ball, stand up double, and I just started screaming at from second base and pointing at people, just saying, "I told you I could play. I told you I could play. I told you I could play."
Yeah.
Tears coming down my eyes, and I probably didn't realize it in that moment because I was just, frankly, in my 12-year-old self, just pissed off that I didn't really get to play with my friends and people I knew because small town, like playing Little League Baseball was everything in the summer when you're a kid. That's just what you did.
Yeah.
And from that was but as I got probably much older, I don't know when I finally looked back and had a lot of realization about it, but it definitely, as I looked back on that situation, I realized that life is just not going to be fair. And you got to take the opportunities that give to you. And if it wasn't for that guy giving me an opportunity when he had openings on his roster, from what I remember, that rest of that season I played as good as I could. I was no all star or anything like that, but I was out there. I was able to play. I was able to be a part of something, and got into high school, and my baseball slash sports playing career ended in junior varsity by the time I got to 10th grade. So I, which was fine. it wasn't, I started getting some other interests and started working, so by the time I was 15, 16, it was done.
Yeah.
And, but that was okay at that point. And, what kept me going is, by senior year of high school, I got led on to my, uh, uh, newspaper, my high school newspaper, the ESCO High, and 6 weeks into it, I got named co-sports editor because there was a change, and we went on to win best newspaper in the state at the high school level at our division. And during that senior year of high school, the second half of my senior year, I went from working at a drugstore to writing for my hometown paper, the Atmore Advance, and that started a journey that I didn't even know it, didn't even understand at that point. To be honest with you, because I'm doing that at 18 years old, and then it just kind of went from there. Summer it was going to Alabama and knew that, and through a lot of people helping me, I applied for what was called the Minority Journalism Workshop, changed to the Multicultural Journalism Workshop at Alabama, basically journalism camp. Went to Alabama for 2 weeks for journalism camp between my senior year of high school and my freshman year at Alabama. And somehow, some way, I got a couple of awards from that, and one of which they gave me best story, and that that got me going to uh, change. 3 weeks later, after going to this journalism camp, I went back for freshman orientation, and that's when I decided, I'm not going to major in computer science and minor in math. I'm going to major in journalism and minor in computer science. And that's what I did, and everything kind of went from there. So hopefully I haven't bored everybody with all of that, because that was
Well.
that was a very significant time in my life from that 12 years to 18 years old. And a lot of things happen in between but those were the big highlights of it. And if I don't get all those opportunities and all those things happen at 12 to 18, I'm not sitting here today,
Yeah.
because those are the things that put me in position that got me on campus at Alabama. I wrote for the Crimson White, which is the student paper at Alabama, and then between my freshman and sophomore years, when my journalism advisor Marie Parsons, who passed away not too long ago,
Sorry.
she gave my name to the athletic department when they reached out and they were looking for student assistant positions in the athletic department, and my name was one of them. I drove up there in the summer for an interview, got it, started my sophomore year as a student assistant in the athletic department. It was the fall of 1992. If you know anything about college sports and especially college football, 1992 at the University of Alabama was pretty significant. Didn't know what was going to happen. First year of the SEC football championship game. By the way, Alabama had a pretty good squad, and they went on to play for the SEC championship game, win, and go in as the number 2 seed against top-ranked Miami in the Sugar Bowl in January 1st, 1993. And that whole experience um, led me to that day. I can tell people, everybody, I know the day I knew I wanted to work in sports for real was January 1st, 1993, at that Sugar Bowl, being at that game on the field after we beat Miami. And, I didn't know everything about what working in sports meant. I had a little taste from that fall, but from that point on, I just went in with all the opportunities that Alabama gave me,
Yeah.
and then from there, being able to get that first opportunity at the Southeastern Conference office really set up the entirety of my professional career.
Yeah. And I mean, I look back at it, 1992-93 season for Alabama football went 2-0 against the state of Florida, defeated Florida in that SEC title game. And like you said, January 1st, 1993, standing on the field at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, saying, I know this is what I want to do. That was Alabama 2, Miami the 1, and a victory 34-13. So a heck of a way to jump into it. And they say that there's people that look lucky and they just seem to be lucky all the time. And I would say blessed in that place. And I believe Nicki Minaj has a line that says, "No, I'm not lucky, I'm blessed." But I would say, it seems like people are in the right place at the right time a lot of the time. I think it comes down to being a good person, working hard, doing things the right way, not cutting corners, being willing to put yourself out there, even if you're scared, putting your faith over your fear, and, building those relationships, being relationship based and not transactional. I don't think that any of what you just shared, as well as the other dominoes that have fallen up to this point, Scotty, were by mistake. I call them God incidences. And I think that these things happen for people that do things the right way, believe in themselves. And I'm telling you this right now, for as long as I've known you, there's going to be a time this year where you and I are going to be in the same room, and I'm going to tell you my story on the basketball side of things. And I will walk by you going, "I told you I can hit. I told you I can hit."
Hey, look, Dan, life is very interesting. The twists and turns that have made the stops in my professional career, which it's affected my personal life because moved and lived in places that never thought that I would be. Even being here in Arlington, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, though I've spent a lot of time here through my connection with the Cotton Bowl Classic. I I just never knew where I was going to end up. And, when you work in sports, a lot of times you don't know. You
Yeah.
don't know the places that you're going to end up. And, sometimes you get to stay in your hometown and you get to do things like that. And sometimes in this career, in this life, it takes you literally all over the country. And I've been very blessed to live in the places that I lived in because it's taught me a lot of things about life, taught me about myself. I can go into different places and feel comfortable. When you work in sports, you have to adapt quickly, whether it's to the environment that you live in, whether that's to the job that you're doing, whether that's to the stresses of the job that you're doing, the events you're running, the events you're in part of, the games, the contests that you're a part of. You have to adjust. And right now we're talking about the world's biggest event is happening right now in our country with the FIFA World Cup
Yeah.
happening right now. And the hundreds of thousands of people who are working from volunteers to people who work this event every 4 years, and all the contractors and all the people that are being involved. I'm here in Arlington, just 6, 7 miles from the stadium.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what's going on across DFW and all of the communities in this country about what's going on, and it's amazing. I hope to we've only had up to this point, we've only had one match here so far. I look forward to getting down and getting in the mix of it and experiencing it, because it's while our bowl game is very, very special, this is the most unique event in the world. It's unquestioned. And to be involved and engaged and even having just a little bit to do with it will be very special over these next few weeks. And I'm just glad to say that I was here for that. The last time I was here was '94, and I was a junior in college. If it wasn't for the World Cup in '94, I wouldn't have learned about soccer the way that I needed to, so that when I walked into my senior year of college in '94, '95, that I could be, serving as a student, serve in a somewhat primary role for our women's soccer program that we were bringing back as a varsity sport. So the '94 World Cup here played a significance in my life. Not that I worked it or anything, but I just watched it because I didn't grow up knowing anything about soccer. It was not something that was going on in
Yeah.
my world and in the state of Alabama, and in where I grew up, at least, in any significant way. But because I had to learn a new sport, and that's the beauty of sports. Man, I've been able to learn a lot of new sports over my lifetime and be around them, and sports that I never even knew existed, in life. And now I can speak about some of them with some knowledge and just enough knowledge. And that's very, very cool and a lot of fun, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, I will second that. As a kid, it was like basketball, football, baseball. Nobody was talking about lacrosse or soccer. And my cousin was playing in Pennsylvania. My cousin Christina, it's her birthday today, so happy birthday, Christina. But and God bless. I'm standing in the road. I'll never forget this. And there was a soccer ball on the ground. So I start, I'm talking to her and I'm playing with a soccer ball with my feet, paying attention, not paying attention. She goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Do you play?" And I said, "No." She said, "Well, you look like you know what you're doing." And I was like, "Well, I'm Italian and Spanish." And I go back, I said to my family all these years later, I go, "You never pushed it. I'm 5'8" playing basketball. I can shoot, but I'm a short basketball player. If I'm 5'8" on the soccer field, perfect height." So, Scottie, to what you had to say, I didn't learn about soccer till I was in college, get around it. I dated somebody who was an outside mid. So watching her play and everything with her family, and her whole family played, all four kids, I really got around it. Went to Red Bull games with them at the old Giant Stadium before MetLife. And then I started coaching soccer, U12, 8 to 11-year-olds. And I did get a Gatorade water dousing. Our last game, we went on a golden goal. And those kids, I never thought that I'd be a coach that got the Gatorade, the Gatorades tipped over my head. But it did happen. It was awesome. And I'll always appreciate that. But I will tell you that, yeah, soccer came later for me. And, it lives in my blood. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, would I be out there right now in the World Cup doing my thing if my parents had pushed that on me? But it's all good. I love watching a game. And as we're talking here today, you have that game at AT&T Stadium, England going up against Croatia. I think this game might be a draw. I'm seeing 1-1 in my brain. But, I mean, again, here you are, Scottie, living in the sports world. And I don't call it luck when things come to your doorstep. You're in Arlington, AT&T Stadium. I did a little wardrobe change on the commercial to put my Dallas Cowboys star on because I know you're a fan, and obviously you know that I love the team as well and spent way too much money when I come to the stadium. So what is it like for you all these years later, 94 to 2026, to now be at a stadium a stadium that's home to the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic? You have a connection with the Cowboys. You love the Cowboys. And now here comes the World Cup. And not only the World Cup, but a team in England that has had a lot of history.
It's just really unique. I mean, I'll explain to you like this. By the way, Dan, we gotta be fair to the FIFA people. It is Dallas Stadium in Arlington right now, while the World Cup is going on. Can't have all these corporate names.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Sands World Cup, AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
There is a video, a verbal loop that happens at the stadium under normal circumstances that says it has a bunch of people saying, "Hey, I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm this person. I'm this person." And then it comes on, and I'm Jerry Jones, and welcome to the home of the Dallas Cowboys. And a lot of times that loop is just happening. It just happens on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So it's on all the time. So when I walk into the stadium, I'm going to work, and it's just a Tuesday in the middle of the summer. There's nothing going on, nothing of significance. There's no Cowboys game. And I'm walking in, and that'll be going on. And every time it says, "And I'm Jerry Jones, and welcome to the home of the Dallas Cowboys," I could be by myself. Just a little hair on my arm stands up because it just reminds me that I'm walking into the stadium.
Yeah.
That one of my favorite teams play in, and I'm going there to go to work.
Yeah.
I don't work for the Cowboys. We just happen to have the relationship to work in the stadium. But the fact that still like triggers just a second of a response from me just lets me know, like, man, I'm blessed. And I just keep walking in and go into the office and do my work and, have a normal day. Just like everybody would have a normal day, walking into their building, going to do their job, and then leaving the building and going and leaving their building and going home. So it's just such a neat thing. And I've said to myself, and I don't know, the day that I don't feel that might be the day that I might need to think about retirement, but
Yeah.
I don't see that happening anytime soon. Um, it's truly a unique thing, and as you mentioned with the World Cup, we are not, as the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, involved with any of the operations or any of those types of things. So
Yeah.
FIFA is, learning about it from a little bit of a distance, learn about what they're doing and how they're doing. And frankly, I also live in Arlington, so the effect of what is happening in Arlington as a city is quite intriguing as well. It's just a very unique thing, and just all over Dallas Fort Worth. I've spent some time on our local organizing committees, marketing communications committee leading up to and a lot of meetings, and just talk about well, all of the cities. As you know, Dallas Fort Worth has a number of cities. It's so hard to even list them all. It's tens of cities and communities, and all of them are doing their part to be a part of this World Cup experience, whether it's game watches in parks and displays and opportunities for families to engage in their communities. So many different forms and different aspects of it. I just think that's really unique because it has to be. This is the world's game in our backyard of North Texas, and everybody's really experiencing it in different ways. And I think that's just so fantastic.
So, are you going to invite me to see your office and just line it up perfectly with when a game is going on? That's the question.
First of all, if I could get to my office when the games are going on, but I will say this:
Yeah.
you might have saw a video recently, or we just revamped the public side of our office, and we did a little bit of an unveil in the video that we put out on social media as we did a rebrand of our refresh of our logo, and our look and feel in our office space. You'll see more of this after the World Cup passes. Because it's not being able to be displayed as we would like it through this because of obvious reasons with the World Cup. But we look forward to really showcasing it throughout the fall. And, we've been able to do some things. I won't share everything right now, so there's a little bit of intrigue about how we've revamped our office in a way that showcases more of our history, and people can learn more about who we are and what we've done, and the personalities on and off the field that have affected our game.
Well, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to, be a part of what's coming up in the future as well, because you know that I have all the respect in the world for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and that's because of people like yourself and your incredible staff. I have experienced a lot of different things in college football, and I can say that my words walking out of your game and the entire experience around the game this past season, as I said, I may have said it to you. If I didn't, you're going to hear it now, but I said not everybody's like the Cotton Bowl, and I wish they were. So there's a certain level that you get from places, and 22 years in the business, I've been blessed to do a lot of things. I thank God for it, and I thank people like yourself for opening the doors. And I can honestly say that there is a level that the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic holds themselves to, and you don't see that everywhere, and it's noticeable in a very positive way. So not only to you, but to your staff, thank you for the work that you're doing, because people like me who, I own my own business. So when I'm spending money, I'm reinvesting what my sponsors, what my partners bring in. I'm reinvesting that to go out and cover these events. And so when you spend your hard-earned money to go and do things, you want to go places where you're appreciated, and you want to go where the experience is far beyond the game. And I can tell you that the Cotton Bowl does not disappoint. And this past season, it really was evident to me that not every college football situation is the same. And to your credit, you're you're at the top of the heap, in my opinion.
Well, Dan, I always looked at this and I got taught this early. The people that are covering our game, that's how they make their money. That's how they put food on the table for their family, their kids. This is how they live life. So, my job is to make sure that they can do their job well so that they get paid the things they need to get paid so that they can live their life.
Yeah.
So, it's as simple as that. People forget that sometimes that, when people are sitting in press boxes, all across this country. And it's great that they're able to be a game is, when there's in the media scrums and they're standing in front of an owner or a coach or a student athlete, that's what they're doing in life to make money, to live in life. So we have to make sure that we're doing as much as we can as a part of that experience to give them the access so they can do their job well,
Yeah.
give them accommodations, whether that's hotel or at the stadium or what other venues we may be, so that they can do their job well and at the appropriate times give them food and drink so they can nourish themselves as a part of the process. Because again, that's a part of it. Like it
Yeah.
is as simple as that. People need to be nourished to do the job well. People need to be able to sleep well to do their job well. It's not the most complicated thing in the world, and I do think we all have to sleep well. We all have to be nourished,
Yeah.
and when you think about it under those terms, I think that's what helps us make the decisions that we make and approach things the way that we approach them, so that people can do great. Because look, everybody does everything well when they're at their best self.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
Athletes to administrators to media people to folks like myself. That's it. So how can we create the best possible situation for that? And oh, by the way, Dan, a word that I always like to throw in there, let's have a little fun. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to have just a little fun. Just a little fun because we love sports in
Yeah.
our various ways. We love sports. And if we can have a little fun and smile with it, that's going to be not necessarily the icing on the cake, but that's going to be a part of that gumbo of what we do, and that's going to make that gumbo taste just a little bit better.
Yeah. And I'm saying you up the ante. The snacks are good. The experience is good. Las Colinas knows that I love it. So I got a lot of good things to say about the Texas area that you said is so much more than simply Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth. Going to downtown Dallas, doing the JFK tour was one of the greatest experiences that I had when I had a little bit of time before the game. And then, Las Colinas, I'm just spoiled by this town that created itself right outside of Irving. Has been a really beautiful thing as well. Before we hop out of here, I would be remiss if I didn't hit a couple points here. I do want to get to the college football playoff, and we're going to put each other on the hot seat. But right before that, I do want to ask you about what you just experienced, Scottie, on the heels of this, because when we set up to talk, you told me that you were going to be out of town. So you said, hey, the week after would be best. And I thought, hey, this is great because we can speak on the heels of it. You were just at the NACDA, for those that don't know, the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics, and the CSC, the College Sports Communicators, Unite conventions in Las Vegas, Nevada. Bring me into what you took away from that experience.
Well, just to give your viewers a little bit of information, NACDA, which is the acronym you just mentioned, NACDA is the parent organization over all of the disciplines that are in college, almost all of them, not all of them, but it's an odd alphabet soup. I will warn people if you ever go to that website, you'll see a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
But under that umbrella, you have a lot of different areas that are the disciplines of college athletics, whether that is development or academic advisors or licensing, marketing, business managers, facility managers, so many different organizations. So that's why they call it the NACDA and Affiliates Convention. With that, one of the affiliates is CSC, which was called COSIDA, which is now College Sports Communicators. So all those, the major convention and all of those affiliate groups are having their conventions together in one place. At this current construct of it, it rotates between Las Vegas and Orlando. This year was Vegas, and it's really the professional development opportunity for administrators, for companies who do business in and around college athletics, who want to do business in and around college athletics, to be there in one space to go through conversation, whether that's through panels and workshops, whether that's through exhibit halls and those types of things. So there's a plethora of information that is shared throughout the course of that time, and it's roughly a week. And I was fortunate enough to serve on a couple of panels in my roles under the CFC umbrella. I'm on a number of different committees. I was. This is my last convention that I served as chair of our inclusion committee. I also help run our inclusion fellowship for CSC, and I'm also on our Division 1 cabinet, and also serve as a member of our special awards committee. Within all of that, you have an opportunity to go in and out of these panels across all the different organizations. It's a great learning opportunity. It's a great way to fill your cup. You see so many of your friends and colleagues in the business.
Yeah.
The panels are great. But a lot of the great conversations, frankly, happen in the hallways, walking to and from the meetings and all of that. And it's just a wonderful time to sit down with folks that you know, folks that you don't know, and get to know them. And you see them in the hallways, at the social activities, at the lunches. You have a lot of awards presentations, and it's so great. I've been very fortunate to get honored, as you mentioned, at some of those in the previous years, and this year, going to be able to support folks that got honored this year.
Yeah.
It's truly a wonderful thing, and it's a great exchange of information. And you walk out of it. I always say, and many people say, that's where you fill your cup for the year in college athletics, because you get to collaborate, you get to talk to all the people that are living in the world and looking at the world in a similar way, in a similar direction that you're looking from. So you use that to fill your cup as you are hopefully moving into a rest, relax, and recharge time of year. It's not very little for many of us. June goes by very quickly, and as you know, July is talking season in college football, so we're right back in it.
Yeah.
And most people have student athletes coming back to campus and getting ready for the fall seasons. So it goes by very, very quickly. It's just a great convention, and this was my 30th CSC/COSADA convention to go to. I've been fortunate enough to go almost every year of my professional career, and I just can't miss it because it's so impactful to learning. It's so impactful to being able to celebrate people in our profession and move our profession forward.
Yeah, and I love it. And I definitely, off the air, we'll call it the hallway conversation. Want to pick your brain about that for sure. So, college football playoff, we know that the season is fast approaching, even though it's June, because in July, I'm already thinking to myself, okay, for what 40 teams am I preparing questions for? So, as we get it all set here and ready to go, the college football playoff has released a new logo, not a new logo, but like they have altered some things. They've branded themselves, kind of up the ante, so to speak. And we know that the college football playoff is now going to end the latest it has ever ended. It is going to be literally chomping at the heels of the NFL's title game this season, as it will end on January 25th in Las Vegas, Nevada. We know that the first round will be December 18th with one game, 3 on the 19th. Those will be played at the higher seed home field. And then we will have the quarterfinals, which the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic is a part of. In those quarterfinals, we will have one. Typically, they're on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but this time around, we're going to have the Fiesta Bowl the day before New Year's Eve on December 30th. And then the schedule of January 1st games will be the Rose Bowl as well as the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. That schedule has not been decided what time, but we all know it's going to be on January 1st for those 3 matchups. And then the Capital One Orange Bowl as well as the All-State Sugar Bowl will find us on January 14th and 15th, respectively. And then we'll have our championship at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada on January 25th. Your thoughts on where we are going from here? There's been some kind of alterations to this, and I think that this is going to be our potential last year of 12. We're on the precipice of 16 or 24. We know the FCS already has 24. So, Scottie, as we embark on the 12-team playoff for the 3rd year, your thoughts going into this, and obviously the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic being a part of it. There's the excitement of what's coming, and then the preparation that we could have change once again, hopefully for the better.
Well, a couple things that's going to be unique this year that will affect all of us. One, we won't find out the time of our game until Selection Sunday. They will make those selections and times for the 3 of us for all of the games, but in particular that affects us for the 3 of us that are on New Year's Day as quarterfinals. Normally in previous years, we knew that time right now, so
Yeah.
we could plan accordingly. So we're going to have to adjust quite a bit to find out, on on December 7th, if I have my calendar correctly, before our game, which is less than a month to our game.
Yeah.
And secondly, probably one of the biggest pieces, there's some other things that are in there, but one of the biggest pieces is that this year, the number 1 seed, once they know who they are, will be able to pick their path. Quarters, semifinals, and then it'll go down to the 2nd, and then it'll go down to the 3rd, and then obviously the 4th will have to pick, will be slotted in with what's left. So again, that's going to be unique as it relates to the situation of what's going on this year. So you look at those things, and that's going to create some uniqueness in how we plan for our game, because we could be a game that is played early in the day,
Yeah.
or we could be a game that's played in prime time. So that is a huge gap to figure out what type of day we are going to have, and thus what we can put around it as it relates to the things that happen before the game or the things that happen after the game. And as we work through all of that, we got to come up with those options in those situations. We know what the game is going to be no matter what time of the game is, and what we can do within the confines of right before the game and during the game and right after the game. But what can we put around it to make it an experience? But we've been in both of those positions before. We've been an early game before. We've been a late game before. So we can use those experiences to pull away what are the things that we can do to create the overall best experience for our fans that are coming in town for the game. And then obviously we're going to continue to do everything that we can to make sure that the teams, and when I say the teams, the entirety of the teams, not just the student athletes, the coaches and players, but everybody that's coming along with the administrators, everybody that's coming along with the university, to make sure that they have the best possible experience that they have as well. The focus is always and will always be on the team and the coaches and those that are in that nuclear portion of what the team is. But we want to make sure that everybody that comes have an experience, because whether their experience is multiple days or just a few days, we want to make sure that it's memorable. It's something that they will enjoy, and they will be hopefully talking about for years and years to come, even though we're just one round of the journey, because we know that we are one aspect of the journey to win a national championship. And we hope that we can continue to be a part of the conversation. Hey, we won a national championship, and that's great. Man, we had a good time at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and we want to make sure whether we're a quarterfinal or a semifinal, that is a part of their conversation every year, no matter the team, and we're always excited about that.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I pulled off my shortest window of travel last year when I was in Dallas in the Dallas Arlington area for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and the game was at night. Then I hopped on the only flight that was direct from Dallas to Miami to be at the Capital One Orange Bowl the next day. And my buddy goes, it was less than 12 hours. He was like, how am I watching a video of you on the field at AT&T Stadium, and now I'm watching you walk around the field pregame in Miami? And I was like, hey, this, God is great, and I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to do it. If I had to walk between the two, I was going to make it happen. So it's definitely a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to what's upcoming here, of course, at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in the greater CFP. Scottie, you've been great about answering my questions. Hot seat time, rapid fire. I'm not going to ask you any because you answered mine, so you get to throw me on the hot seat to round out our conversation. You get a couple questions. You can ask me whatever you want, whatever topic. What do you have for me?
Who's going to win a national championship this year?
Oh, my God. Don't do this to me right now. Oh, I know too many of these teams and coaches. Don't be mad. I would say, man, the Big Ten's been bringing the heat lately, so I think the SEC is ripe for something.
It's
Man,
tough.
I know. Right now, I feel good about Ohio State. I feel like Georgia will have a resurgence. I think somebody's going to rise up in the SEC. I'd like to see Florida do so. I don't know if they'll win a championship, but I'd like to see them make it. But if I got to pick right now, man, I hope Clemson rises up too. I'm gonna have to say Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama. I know that those are the blue bloods, but I'm going to have those three in my brain right now. And I'm going to say feet to the fire, Ohio State or Alabama in this moment. But it's really hard because so many things can happen. So,
Yeah. Well,
I guess
you got the rosters are changing so dramatically.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Across the board. And even right now, what somebody thinks their roster might be, there still can be movement before, school starts. Probably not a lot of movement, but can be some. So, I don't have an answer to that question. So that's why I asked you.
Yeah, I don't like that you did that though. So, but I'm gonna say okay. I mean, I'm gonna the ones that I picked. I think some will be trending up that maybe people have been getting a little hard on, like the Alabamas. Give them a little heat. And then I do think that there's going to be some that have been around the last couple of years that will continue to be around. I also look at Texas because let's see what Arch Manning's going to do. So it's a really difficult question. And I love the fact of your honesty of going, I don't know how to answer it, so I made you do it. So what's your next question for me, Scottie?
I don't know if I've asked you this question. In the greater Syracuse area, what is your favorite sandwich?
Now, that's a good question. Well, I have my own sandwich. I have the Cuse McMother at Mother's Cupboard, which is bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast, and you can cut it up or pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. So I'm going to say that the city has responded very well to the Cuse McMother, and I want to thank them and everybody that's traveled in that's made an idea of mine really something that people love to get. And when I'm sitting there and I hear people ordering it, that's pretty cool. And I love that they're picking up what I put down, and thanks to Pete Green for letting me create it, and Pete and Amy and the whole team. But I would say outside of my own sandwich that I get and I've seen and heard that a lot of people have liked, I would say my favorite, I got to go to the Brooklyn Pickle and get the BP. It's a bunch of different meats, Swiss cheese or provolone, and a little bit of Thousand Island on wheat bread. If you get a full, so if you get a half a sandwich, it's a full sandwich, and if you get a full sandwich, it's 2 sandwiches. And I would say that when I go to the Brooklyn Pickle, I get the Brooklyn Pickle. It's BP all day. So I probably have to say the BP for sure.
Yeah, well, that's very cool.
All right, you get one more, Scottie. Make it count.
Name one of your favorite coaches to interview.
In college football?
In college football.
I got to go with the first one that comes to my mind. And I asked this, so I like, I always say to the people that I'm close with, and I've gotten to meet great people in the industry, and I'll say to the coaches or the players, I'll be like, hey, if you want to send me gear, I'll rock it. Like if you want to send something over, I'll rock the hat, I'll rock the shirt, whatever, because I appreciate you and I have a relationship with you. Well, I said it to this gentleman. I said, can you send me a hat or a shirt? Like, we known each other for years. Like, what are you doing? I came home one day. There was a massive box. I'm not talking about a little box. There was a big box sitting on my porch with about 15 pieces of clothing. I looked like I was getting heavily recruited by this place. And it was the SMU Mustangs and my guy, Rhett Lashley, who very nonchalant sent me like every piece of gear that they had in the office. So I would say one of my favorite people to talk to, because he will make time for me when it's crazy busy. He will make time for me when they might have some downtime, if that's even possible. And he has gone above and beyond for me. I think he's a fantastic coach. I believe that he is someone who has morals and values. I love the way his players talk about him, and I am proud to rock the Mustang wherever I'm at because of the character that he presents. So on and off the field, he's a friend. So I would have to say Rhett Lashley, because I love my coaches and I got a lot of great ones around the country, but some of them got to step their game up. Nobody has given me a flood of clothing more than Rhett Lashley.
You know what? That's a great way to answer that question. And shout out to Rhett and the good folks over at SMU for supporting DT.
Yeah, they're not too far away from you as well. So with that being said, Scottie Rodgers here, VP of Communications for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, following his induction to his hometown Atmore, Alabama Hall of Fame, and coming off of the NACDA and CSC Unite conventions out in Las Vegas, Nevada. Scottie, it's always my pleasure. Time flies by. I just looked at the clock and I can't even believe how long we've been on. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence in this world and in the world of sports. And thank you for believing in a kid a long time ago and everything that it's been up and since then. And I appreciate you very much on and off the field, like I said, and I'm grateful to have you as a friend more than anything else, and grateful that there's another big kid in the industry that still loves what he does and does what he loves.
We got to be kids at this thing if we're going to do it right. And Dan, keep grinding, keep doing your work, keep celebrating college athletics, college football, and keep doing it the right way, because people see it and people notice it. And it's an inspiration to others that are trying to do something similar than what you're doing right now.
Well, what I can say is it's good to be in the room with good people, and it's always a pleasure to be in a room with you, and I look forward to doing that soon.
Yes, sir. See you down the road.
Sounds good. Take care. That coming from Scottie Rodgers. One more time, Atmore Hall of Famer, and of course, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic VP of Communications. Fantastic human being and a wonderful blessing in my life, and somebody who opened a door when maybe other people weren't. So I can't thank Scottie enough for that. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. We have gone far beyond our time and we've barely taken a break, but that's what it's about here on Wake Up Call and with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. Overall, under promise, over deliver. You will hear from our great partners who do that as well in their lines of work. Under promise, over deliver. And let's hear from them inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, and we'll wrap things up right after this. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Gina Husted. I'm part owner of Skippy's Ice Cream. The other half is my better half, Don Husted Jr. When somebody comes up to the truck and it's a family, it's nice that the older generation is nostalgic and they can tell the younger generation, back in my day, we used to have the truck around our neighborhood. So now you're lucky because the truck can come to your party, and you're lucky that this truck is at a festival and you're getting to buy the ice cream. And basically we're ice cream that comes to you now, specifically comes to you, not for you waiting for us, we're coming to you. We will do neighborhoods if you have a block party. We do birthdays, we do anniversaries, parties, we do celebrations of life, we do wedding showers, we do festivals, we'll do corporate events, we have a lot of corporate picnics, we have family reunions, so it's a whole wide range of whatever party you have, we'd love to be at. We're so appreciative of the community, always coming up to us at festivals and calling us to have different events. We have a lot of return customers. We always have people coming up to our truck. We're always there for the community. We always try to give back to different organizations and fundraisers, and so I think the community sees that. We like to give back to them. This is where we live. This is where we were raised. This is where our kids were raised. So the community is very special to us. I mean, obviously, we've lived here our whole lives, so it means a lot that they come up to our truck and that they choose us, because we're just there to please the community and deal with as many people as we can in this community, because this is, like I said, where we were born and raised. If you'd like to get in touch with Skippy's Ice Cream and have us at your next event, I would suggest using our email, skipthecake, skipthecake, skipthecake@gmail.com. That's the fastest way to get a hold of us. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us, and that's going to get the fastest response from us. If you choose to call, if you don't have an email, then you can call 315-456-9750, and we'll be glad to get back to you as soon as we can. Skippy's Ice Cream, the original ice cream truck.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Hi, this is Chris Rauda.
And Colleen Rakowski from Gray's Craze of Clay.
It's a fun, innovative, upscale catering solution. We've turned eating into a whole new experience. Each of our boards is packed with delicious mix of artisan cheeses. We use premium cured meats, fresh fruits, nuts, and all of the sweet touches that really bring out the best in every perfect bite.
We offer something as small as a grab and go that feeds one, maybe two people, to our large board that can serve anywhere up to 25, 28 people. So we have the ability to really meet and hopefully exceed all of our customers' expectations when it comes to the different varieties of things that we have.
Charcuterie boards or boxes are healthy, fresh, delicious. They're made to order. We're baking the breads here daily. We're baking the cookies here daily. All of our dips are homemade, made in-house. All of our spreads are all made in-house.
When you open that board or box that we have delivered or you have picked up, we want you to know that it was made with care and designed to completely elevate your event, celebration, or meeting.
We've catered parties and events for up to 300 people. So if you're walking in to grab something for lunch or something for date night or movie night, that's great too. Our events go from you eating in the car on the way home to a catering event in a rehearsal dinner or cocktail hour or party.
When we do, again, know what the event is, specifically for a wedding, we like to schedule tastings so the bride and groom can come in and see what we have to offer. And we can then, as we talk, to try to understand what they're looking for, what the venue's like. We do like to have that one-on-one interaction when it comes to catering bigger events.
Our address is 4599 State Route 31, Suite 5 in Clay, New York. We're on the corner of Route 31 and Henry Clay at Clay Marketplace.
You can order on the phone by calling area code 315-409-4171 or online at grayscraze.com/clay-ny. Come visit us at Gray's Craze of Clay, New York,
where we want you to celebrate everything.
Hey everybody, this is Rockney Roberts from Willow Rock Brewing Company. We are here in Cicero at the Willow Rock Pizza Pub.
And I'm Kevin Williams, also from Willow Rock Brewing Company. Happy to be here and happy to be partnering with CNS and Dan Tortora.
You want some place where you can feel comfortable and hopefully ingratiate yourself with the community. And Kevin, he grew up right down the road from here. I grew up in Brewerton, so not too far away. We know the area, we know the people, they're great, and we were just really excited to be able to come to the area.
Yeah, and having the opportunity to meet some of these coaches, some of the people in general already, and seeing the CNS colors kind of around, and already partnering on a smaller level with individual teams really made this make sense to us to really formalize kind of a partnership with the school and get this rolling.
You know, Willow Rock to me has always been about high quality beverages, high quality experiences, and now high quality food in our pizza pub. You know, that was something new for us when we came to Cicero. Right from the drop, we knew we were going to have a focus on the highest quality food to go with our high quality beer. At the Willow Rock Pizza Pub, you're getting high quality, hand cut, top notch ingredients. We're open for lunch. That's a really important thing for us, is to be able to get that person in here like, hey, you only got 30 minutes for lunch, but we're gonna have something for you that you can get quickly and available to everybody.
Yeah, we wanted something that was just a little bit outside the box, a little bit outside of comfort zone, but still something that you could rely on to be consistent and easy to look at and easy to be like, oh, I can see myself eating this. I can see myself wanting to have that more than once. Eating a whole pizza like our beef on weck pizza, I've never seen one anywhere. It's just a great ideas, great inspiration across the board. We're their spot to stop. We're their friendly neighborhood watering hole, as well as pizza place and place to stop for a restaurant. Not just beer drinkers here. We've got wines, we got cocktails, we got non-alcoholic stuff for the kids.
The location is more important today than it ever has been before, and we're lucky enough to be here in Cicero. The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is a place where you can bring your family. You can come in, you can grab a soda, you can relax. You can come after a game, before a game, your parents, your grandparents. Our goal is to make sure that everyone's comfortable here. We want students, we want athletes, we want your coaches. It's going to be a good time. So come here, enjoy the high quality food, high quality beverage that we're going to offer to everybody. And hey, go North Stars.
We're so happy to have the North Stars. We are very much a kid-friendly establishment. We have tons of space outside for everybody to be playing outside, as well as listening to live music, enjoying some pizza.
The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is open 6 days a week here in Cicero. That is Tuesday through Sunday. And our website is willowrockbrew.com, and our socials are at Willow Rock Brew. So find us on the net, find us in person. We'll see you soon.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up It was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily? In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and of course all the time online at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. I cannot thank you enough for being with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thanks for being with us on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.mixlr.com. However you're connected with us, we thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and beyond, as today we are over 2 hours and 40 minutes, and this is more typical than it's not. Thanks for being with us as well as on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Make sure you download, follow, and subscribe on all of these channels for free. And of course, many thanks to our wonderful team of partners in Central and Upstate New York. Make sure to visit and support Great Lakes Honda City, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Myers Creek, the Baked Potato Express, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A, Cicero, Skippy's Ice Cream, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Gray's Craze of Clay, New York, perfect for Father's Day, Brian's Landing, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Willow Rock Brewing Company, and the Willow Rock Pizza Pub, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's,
Mother's Cupboard, and of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Binghamton University Bearcats. Find the Bearcats during Bearcat Time in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, featuring your Bearcats right here on Wake Up Call, with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni gracing the stage. You can find it all by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. You can also find the Bearcats on the homepage of wakeupcalldt.com, as well as underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com, and as always, go Bearcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank my co-host of World Cup On Call, Zach Bowden, for joining me for our second week of World Cup conversation here on Wake Up Call, simply called World Cup On Call, and for my conversation with Scottie Rodgers, the VP of Communications of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic inside of the college football playoff, who is on the heels of being celebrated by his hometown in Atmore, Alabama, for going into the Atmore Area Hall of Fame, and also being with NACDA and the CSC in the Unite conventions in Las Vegas, Nevada, that happened this past week, and for all the wonderful leadership and opportunity that Scottie Rodgers has given, including opening the door to me. So thank you to Zach, thank you to Scottie, thank you to all of you for being a part of the show, and of course, thank you to Great Lakes Honda City for being our exclusive studio partner. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. Plenty of great specials coming up this Thursday and Friday by the grace of God here on Wake Up Call, and I will see you then. In the meantime, have a beautiful day, be kind to yourselves and each other, and as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, you matter, you're valued, and take care of yourself. Truly.